get your popcorn ready as we talk about ball. Angry Cowboys fan podcast, and it's on. Get your popcorn ready as we talk about ball. Angry Cowboys fan podcast, and it's on. And it's on. And it's on.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation and angry Cowboys fans around the world? Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys fan. I've been thinking as to how our Dallas Cowboys can get back on the winning trajectory for this upcoming season as well as into the future. What has been holding our Dallas Cowboys back from achieving greatness? But this brings me to another topic that I want to speak about, and that's a part of Brian Schottenheimer's press conference. During said press conference, Brian Schottenheimer mentioned that he shuffled up the locker room. He made people change lockers and stuff. So let's go ahead and take a listen to the clip from the press conference so we can come back and talk about it. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
We moved some guys around. This year I did. Along with the help of the staff, again, they don't really get a say in that. But there's a method to the madness. I think when the guys went into the team room for the first time, I made them all stand up after they sat down. I let them sit down, and I had them stand up, and I had them move seats. Why? It's a new year. It's 2025. We'll do that in 2026. We'll do that in 2027 and beyond. I think it's just when you start a new year, do something different, change something up. So it's something that's talked about, thought about, but there's a method to the madness at times.
Well, Cowboys Nation, there is a method to the madness at times. And I don't think Good Morning Football understood what Brian Schottenheimer's message was in relocating players. They spoke about this and how the Dallas Cowboys tend to not impress during the offseason. How the Dallas Cowboys are just plain old meh. So we're going to take a listen to the two clips that I got for y'all, and y'all know what we're going to do. Gonna come back and unpack this raw and uncut. So, angry Cowboys fans, let's take a listen to the first clip from the crew of Good Morning Football.
Musical chairs is cute. It's my understanding is that afterwards each player had to stand up, say their name, their position, and their favorite food. So right. I am Dak Prescott, and I like pizza. And hi, Dak. Like that's how it went. All right, you asked the question, I'll give you an answer. The 2025 Cowboys have me feeling nothing. Nothing. And let me explain why. They are by far the least interesting team in their division. By far. 4th out of 4. And I don't know if that's ever been true in my entire life. Even the Dave Campo era had more sizzle than this team does. Even smaller market teams right now are headlights and neon compared to America's team. The Titans are way more interesting. The Jaguars are way more interesting. The Dallas Cowboys coaching hire was not a bold choice. It was sensible. The Dallas Cowboys first-round draft pick was not a bold choice. It was practical. The not paying Micah storyline is a rerun of an episode we've seen 10 times from this team. The quarterback is the quarterback. He'll be very good, not great, say the right things, and get paid, and we'll do it again next year. The most interesting thing that has happened in the last calendar year for the Dallas Cowboys, and I don't even think it's close, is the owner's breathtaking cameo in a television show called Landman, which was beautiful, amazing, and really sad that was the most dynamic thing we've seen. They are currently like the Tupperware of teams. It's just something you have, you don't think about it, you don't care about it, you put the spaghetti in, you put it in the fridge, you have no attachment to it at all. It just serves a practical need of being one of the teams in the NFC East. I think the Cowboys fans themselves are passing the time grumbling about number 2 receivers, cursing Jaden Daniels, hoping Jackson Dart isn't as good as he is, and praying that the Eagles are gentle this year because they weren't last year. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm not feeling anything negative about the Cowboys. I just feel numb. I feel nothing. And I dare you to find me you feel anything at all.
You don't feel negative about the Dallas Cowboys, but all you do is spit negativity right now. But it is real. I'll keep it a buck. It is real. But how are you supposed to feel? How are the Dallas Cowboys supposed to make you feel? When they have you excited, they get you all worked up, you give them the business when they let you down. I really wonder what people expect from the Dallas Cowboys. Do they really expect Jerry Jones to go out there and spend exorbitant amount of money on free agents to buy the most expensive free agents that are out there? Y'all know that's not going to happen, Cowboys Nation. Now let's go ahead and get into the second clip that I got for y'all so we can get into this raw and uncut.
Yeah, this team is only going to go as far as Dak Prescott takes him. I know Jerry Jones has historically said that, but at the end of the day, they need a run game. And that's what's so important about having Schottenheimer. If you remember Brian Schottenheimer, when he was with the Jets, man, the Jets had a good offensive line, a good run game, and a defense to back him up. I think that's what he's trying to install. Overall, man, Dak is getting older, right? CeeDee Lamb is doing all he can in his body to be the best receiver he can for the Cowboys. What has to happen is we need more production out of tight end position. We need a running back that can promote and kind of sell this offense. You talk about all the good teams in the league who have a running back like the Green Bay Packers, like the Philadelphia Eagles, like you can even go to Detroit and what their two-headed dogs they have back there. What you need for the Dallas Cowboys is they need an identity. They need kind of a makeover, and nobody knows what that is. And so if you're Jerry Jones and company, you have to get more dogs in the building that can really get this offense going in a positive way. Because when I look at this team right now, and I'm with Kyle, you don't feel anything because they haven't given you anything to feel.
I mean, he's right there, Cowboys Nation. You can't really feel anything because the Dallas Cowboys haven't given us anything to feel. No diddy. But he said it in this whole clip. This team will only go as far as Dak takes us, but then he goes on talking about that the Dallas Cowboys need a running back and they need a tight end. Man, Lord have mercy, Cowboys Nation. Y'all ready for this raw and uncut? Y'all ready? Let's get it. Okay, Cowboys Nation. I kind of agree with the last clip. The Dallas Cowboys have suffered from a lack of identity for a number of years. Back when we won our last Super Bowl, the Dallas Cowboys were known as that ground and pound, that physical type of football team. Since Mike McCarthy took over the team, the Dallas Cowboys have been a team without an identity. Sure, they were able to take the ball away with interceptions, but we weren't a physical type of team. If the Dallas Cowboys had any type of identity, it was the identity of being front runners. With Brian Schottenheimer, I feel this team is going to be a different football team, Cowboys Nation. That an identity will be established during this season and will remain the identity during the duration of the Schottenheimer era. You can look at the Seattle Seahawks when Brian Schottenheimer was the offensive coordinator and see how important the run game was for that football team's success. You can look at the New York Jets when Brian Schottenheimer was the OC and how physicality played a role in their success. He's going to bring that same type of physicality to the Dallas Cowboys. But one thing that makes me scratch my head is the fact that people don't understand what Brian Schottenheimer was doing when he made the players switch lockers, when he made the players stand up and sit down at his command. This was Brian Schottenheimer establishing his dominance over the player personnel. Something as small as having him stand up and sit down at his command establishes a hierarchy when it comes to the player personnel. It also shows you who is willing to follow his lead, who respects Brian Schottenheimer's authority. Let's say that you had a player that made a fuss about changing lockers. You can now assess that player. Is he going to be the squeaky wheel? Is he going to deserve the grease for the squeaky wheel? Is the player that makes the fuss one of the pillars of the team? Is Brian Schottenheimer going to have an issue with said player? From what I understand, everyone had no problem with it and moved to their assigned lockers. But the crew of Good Morning Football said that it wasn't important, and why would you have a defensive lineman next to the quarterback? Maybe you want to have your leaders of the team around each other. Maybe Brian Schottenheimer wants to establish that hierarchy within the locker room. Just because the crew of Good Morning Football doesn't understand his philosophy doesn't mean that his philosophy's wrong, Cowboys Nation. But the crew also talked about the Dallas Cowboys being a bland organization, as if the Cowboys have to wow everyone with every move that they make. I'm sorry, but I want this team to be as even keel as possible. I want this team to move at their pace and not worry about impressing any type of talking head out there. I don't want the Dallas Cowboys to go out there and talk all kinds of talk. I want them to come out on the field. I want them to dominate, and that dominance be displayed out on the field. Let's not talk about it, Cowboys Nation. Let's be about it. But real talk, Cowboys Nation, I got a good feeling about Brian Schottenheimer and the coaching staff for the Dallas Cowboys. I believe there's something cooking at the Star and it's going to taste real good, Cowboys Nation. It may not be a Super Bowl at this moment, but it could be in the future, and only time will tell. This has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. Cowboys Nation, what did you feel about this episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast? What do you feel about what Brian Schottenheimer or the crew of Good Morning Football had to say? Y'all know how we get down. We always talk about it in the comment section. But if you're digging this content and want to help the Angry Cowboys Fan reach its goal of 10,000 subscribers, drop a like on this video and please consider sharing it with anybody that you know is a Dallas Cowboys fan. We're almost at that goal. All we need is about 250 subscribers and we have hit it. But if you are DC for life and you got a feeling that something is cooking at the Star and you believe that Brian Schottenheimer is the chef of that recipe, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live, release a video, podcast episode, film breakdown, or Madden 25 or College Football 25 gameplay. Cowboys Nation, your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan, will be up in the air going down to North Carolina tomorrow. I'm going to be releasing this full episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast tomorrow while I'm in travel, so you guys still have some of that classy Cowboys content. And don't fret, don't worry, because when I'm at Rick's house, I will definitely be still giving y'all that raw and uncut as only the Angry Cowboys Fan can do. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan, and I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys Fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.